Tony here in another beautiful location in Colorado. This is the Mount Evans Wilderness. So today I want to do a quick review of two ultralight stoves that I'm really impressed with and that I really have come to like. The first one is the MSR PocketRocket 2. So I used this, well, not this version, but the PocketRocket 1 for several years, and I used it on the Colorado Trail and I really liked it. Some things that I didn't like about the original PocketRocket, its bulkiness and the weight maybe was a little heavy. So MSR came out with a new version, the PocketRocket 2, which is lighter and also has these foldable arms, which makes it smaller and makes it easier to store. So the things I really like about this stove is that it's been field tested for years and years. Not this version, this one came out just last year, I think. So there's still a lot of reviews on it. The good thing about this stove is that the design keeps the flame away from the hinges, which to me is a really important thing, because when the flame hits hinges, it can tighten them up or loosen them or have an effect on them in some weird way. So the flame is kept away from the hinges. It's got a nice, sturdy design. The flame adjustability is really good. Something I really like with this stove is if you need to simmer something, like I like to eat north sides out on the trail, which I think a lot of people do. It's becoming really popular. But something like that, you might need to simmer for a long time, and you just need a very soft bubble. With things like jet boil, they can boil water super fast, but they don't have a lot of adjustability. They're so efficient that even the slightest flame will just cause a rolling boil. With this, maybe it's a little less efficient, but you can simmer things. So some things that I don't like with the PocketRocket 2 is that the arms, I think they're made of steel maybe, but it's actually very bendable, so I can easily just bend the arms. So if you were to sit on it or step on it or store it wrong, you could really bend the arms up pretty good. And to me, they could have just went with titanium for the arms. It saved weight. Probably would have been a little more expensive, but it would have been worth it to me. Another thing that kind of annoys me is the way these arms are set up. There's a big hole in the middle. So if your pot kind of comes off center a little bit, it can fall into this center piece, and it's just not super stable, not as stable as the Peak LiteMax. So that's two things that I don't like about that. So here, the second stove is the Snowpeak Max Lite. Now I'm not sure how old this is. I think it might have came out just last year. It's the first time I saw it anyway. I really like this stove because it's really super light and it's got a nice design. It's got a more stable pot base. To me, the arms are very stable. It's also got a good simmer control. The flame is very adjustable with this knob here. It's got a good flame system. I think it spreads the flame out really good, whereas with the PocketRocket, the flame is more concentrated in the middle. So that's one thing I really like about that. Some things I don't like about this stove is the whole configuration isn't very stable. I can feel a little looseness in it, and when you have a pot on it, you can feel it kind of wiggle around a little bit. So I think that just comes with the design, the way these things store, they spin like that. Another thing that I don't really like about it is that the flame is going to come directly in contact with the arms and the hinges and everything and the whole setup. So that could have an effect over time with how tight or loose they are and just the durability of the whole thing. Another thing I like about this is it packs up actually smaller than the PocketRocket. So you can do this whole deal and these fold in. So you got something this small and you can fit it in your pot, depending on which pot you have. But I have the MSR Titan pot, I think, titanium. So it fits right in there. You can fit a lighter in there. The PocketRocket actually fits in there too, but it's just not quite as good of a fit. One thing I noticed with this is it's got a really wide pot base. So for mine, actually, I don't think that I'll need, see, I got some sticking out on the edges here, so I don't think I'll need all that. So I think something that I can do is there's these hinges here I think you can actually probably punch those out and take these arms off, these swinging arms, and then you could actually save a little weight and still have a pretty decent, you know, base for your pot. So I might try that, might give it a shot, and let everyone know what I find with that. The weight of the LiteMax is actually a good bit better than the MSR PocketRocket. This actually weighs 1.9 ounces, whereas the PocketRocket weighs 2.6. So when you're talking about weights that small, that's actually a big difference. The prices involved: the MSR PocketRocket 2 goes for $49.95, whereas the Snowpeak LiteMax goes for $59.95. So a good difference in price right there, but I think you have more titanium here. The arms are really strong on this. I think the arms are going to last a lot longer. I don't know about the whole setup. It feels a little loose to me, so that's something I'll have to watch. So my overall opinion on the two is that if you want something that you know is going to last and that has tons of reviews and is known to just be an awesome stove, and you can also pay a little less, I would go with the PocketRocket 2. If you want an ultralight stove but weight isn't a huge concern, it's still really light, just it's a little heavier than this one, but it's cheaper. It's more field tested. If you want an ultralight stove that's about as light as it can get, while still having some field tested durability, I would go with the Snowpeak LiteMax. I actually think I'm going to switch this stove as my full-time backpacking stove. I'm really interested to give it like some long-term testing just to see how it holds up. My kind of first impressions are really good about it. I'm only concerned about the stability of it and the durability. But yeah, that's it. That's my comparison between these two stoves. So let me know what you think about the video, about the comparison. Let me know what you think about the two stoves if you have one of them.